Hey everyone, welcome to Gale at Night. Today I'm bringing you a story I came across, but one that deserves attention. It's out of Houston, Texas, and it involves a well known gospel music producer who's now facing serious sexual assault allegations. What's more, investigators are suggesting the publicly filed charges may only be the beginning, that there could be many more victims. I want us to walk through not just the facts, but the voices, the statements from women who say they were harmed, and to understand how this case is unfolding. Who are we talking about? Kerry Fitzgerald Douglas. He's a gospel music producer in Houston, Texas. Over the years, he's built a standing in Christian music circles, working with artists, producing compilations, and carrying a reputation in the local gospel community. He's been credited as the founder or executive behind Black Smoke Music Worldwide. But in 2024, a darker side of his story surfaced. Douglas was arrested and charged with 4 counts of sexual assault based on allegations made by multiple women. What makes this particularly difficult yet important is that law enforcement now suggests there may be more women whose cases haven't yet been pursued or fully investigated. Before we dive into police procedures and legal nuances, I want to share some of the voices behind the charges. These are from the Fox 26 article, quoting statements attributed to women in these cases. These are their stories, again, as reported from court documents, police statements, or media reporting, not yet proven in court. One of the women said, "I was crying, saying no, no, no. Why don't you just stop?" In the same statement, she added, I just don't think victims are believed. He would have been arrested a long time ago if I was believed." Those quotes come from the report tied to one of the 4 foul assault counts. They underscore the desperation and fear these women say they felt, and also one of the profound challenges: not being believed. In another alleged case from 2007, a woman says Douglas followed her home, entered her house while she was sleeping, covered her mouth, and assaulted her. Then there's the account from 2014. One woman says she had multiple drinks with Douglas and later lost memory of what happened between leaving a restaurant and waking up sore in a hotel room. She says she felt like she may have been drugged. A 2016 complainant claimed she met Douglas at a club, left with him, and then he forced himself on her in a car. She told a friend, according to documents, "He just raped me." And more recently, in 2022, one woman says she met Douglas in a bar, accepted a drink, started feeling odd, believing the drink may have been tampered with, and later found herself in a hotel room with gaps in her memory, but says she tried to fight him off. These are painful, stark, and difficult to hear, yet they're central to understanding this case. So, after all these allegations, what do investigators now say they've uncovered? And how are they tying things together? Detective Anthony Gutierrez with Houston PD is leading the investigation. In interviews, he says that while only 4 cases have been formally charged so far, 9 women have already come forward with similar reports. He also believes there could be still more victims who haven't yet reported. One recurring theme in those reports: Douglas meeting women in social settings, often at bars in the Galleria area, providing drinks. Then the women later saying they felt disoriented or woozy, as if their defenses had been lowered. Detectives suspect possible drink tampering as a method to inhibit resistance. The timeline of alleged assault spans from 2007 to 2022. Detectives even reference an older 1989 report in connection with Douglas, though that one is beyond prosecution because of the statute of limitations. But here's a key point. When investigators ran Douglas's name recently, older reports that had been closed or shelved suddenly reemerged. Some of those were cases where investigators lost contact with the complainants. The women moved, changed phone numbers, or just faded from view. Now, because Douglas's name is back under scrutiny, those older files are being re-examined. Detective Gutierrez has not held back, calling Douglas very dangerous. He suggested that Douglas's public image, his ties to gospel music, may have helped him gain trust from these women, easing opportunities that investigators say he may have exploited.
Houston Grammy-nominated gospel music producer could actually face even more charges.
Well, Kerry Douglas is already charged with sexually assaulting several different women. Fox 26's Dominic Keith reports from HPD headquarters with this update.
The Houston Police Department detective who's leading this investigation says currently Kerry Douglas is charged with 4 counts of sexual assault, but he suspects there are far more victims.
I think he's very dangerous. A lot of women reported for him to be very aggressive and violent when he assaults them.
Do you guys feel like he's sort of hiding behind his title of a gospel music producer?
Maybe. I believe he uses that to lure women or to lower their defenses, to trust him a little bit more.
Because a lot of the women say that he tells them that he's a gospel music producer.
Right, or just involved in music and has a high profile.
And there are 4 charges of sexual assault against him as of right now. But he's linked to how many cases so far?
9 cases right now. He's named in 9 cases.
And why haven't the 5 others been charged?
We still can't get in contact with those complainants.
And do you believe there are even more victims?
Yes, I believe there are. With the time frame that these cases range, and we know most sexual assault cases go unreported.
What is his MO?
He typically meets women in bars, typically in the Galleria area. He'll meet women there by themselves, chat them up, and they all report to feel woozy after a drink, so we believe he might be putting something in their drinks to take advantage of them. All of the cases were initially assigned to a detective, and either the complainant changed their phone numbers or might have moved or lost contact with the detective that was assigned to the case. And there's the most recent case was in 2022, and when we ran his name, all the old reports popped up, so we looked into opening all those up again.
The cases that you know of so far range from 2007 to 2022?
Correct. Actually, there's an older one from 1989, but because of statute of limitations, we're not able to charge on that case.
And that was in the Houston area
yes,
also?
Yes.
Do you know if he has any out-of-state charges?
I believe he has a warrant from San Diego for a drug charge. To any other victim, we ask that you please come forward. The first step would be to make a police report. You can either go to your nearest police station, HPD police station, or you could call our non-emergency number.
The phone number to HPD's non-emergency line is 713-884-3131.
Legally speaking, here's the terrain we're on. Douglas is currently out on bond. He denies forcing anyone into sex while admitting that he's been in the Galleria area and had sexual relations with multiple women. His defense, all encounters were consensual. Even though 9 women have come forward, only 4 have been charged. And that's partly because some of the older allegations are difficult to prosecute. Investigators cite obstacles like witnesses lost, memories faded, physical evidence missing, and contact info gone cold. Recall the 1989 case. Even though it's tied in investigators' minds, The law won't let that one proceed because of the statute of limitations. Still, the investigation is active. HPD is calling on others who believe they may have been victimized even years ago to step forward with formal reports. One thing to watch: as more reports are linked or revived, prosecutors may file additional charges. They may use pattern evidence such as drink tampering, similar victim profiles, or newly collected forensic evidence to strengthen cases. When you lay all this out, the case highlights several bigger issues. Survivor hesitation and delayed reporting. Many sexual survivors wait years for reasons of trauma, shame, distrust, or of systems. In this case, several allegations lay dormant for years until investigators reconnected them. Power, influence, and vulnerability. Douglas was not just anyone. Being connected to gospel music brings prestige, trust within faith communities, and potentially influence. That may have made some women more vulnerable to manipulation or hesitant to speak against someone respected. Difficulties of proving old allegations. Even when multiple women come forward, the legal system struggles with fading memories, the loss of evidence, and witness availability. It's a high bar to reconstruct events that happened long ago. Faith communities under pressure. When someone within a religious or gospel circle is accused, the fallout ripples. Churches, artists, pastors, many feel pressure to protect the brand, the reputation, or avoid scandal. Victims in faith spaces often face extra barriers to being believed. This case forces questions like, what happens when a person deeply enmeshed in spiritual work faces moral allegations? Can faith communities balance grace with accountability? How do we avoid silencing victims in the name of reputation? And here's what's next in this story. What we should all keep our eyes on. New indictments or charges. As more women come forward or older reports are revived, prosecutors may move to bring additional counts. Forensic and pattern evidence. Linking cases via DNA, drink tampering, or other similarities could strengthen collective prosecutions. Decisions to proceed in court. Defense will challenge timing, consent claims, reliability of memory, and chain of custody for old evidence. Witnesses willing to testify. Even if they decline to testify, it may stall cases. Public and institutional reactions. How do churches, gospel ministries, colleagues respond? Do they stay silent or demand transparency? Media framing and narrative control. This story can be told in many ways. As a crusade for justice, as a smear campaign, or as a contested narrative. The framing matters. Support and belief for survivors. Crucial reminder: believing survivors doesn't mean ignoring due process. It means giving them space, respect, and access to systems that work, not silence. This case is still in motion. Many of the pieces are still unknown, and the statements you heard today are part of the narrative that will be tested in court. But bringing those voices forward matters because otherwise they might be forgotten. What I hope you carry from this episode is a deeper sense of how power, reputation, and secrecy can silence people, and how reopening cold cases and amplifying voices is part of how communities reckon with harm. If you or someone you know has faced something like this, you don't have to be quiet. If more women step forward in this case, their stories deserve to be heard and examined. There is power in numbers. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you it's worth pointing out that HPD is actively inviting potential victims to reach out. As Detective Gutierrez said, to any other victim, we ask that you please come forward. The first step would be to make a police report. You can either go to your nearest HPD police station or you can call our emergency number at 713-884-3131. If you believe you had an experience like this even years ago and haven't reported it or haven't been followed up, here are resources you can use. Houston Police Department Victim Service Division. Call 713-308-0080 or email victim.services@houstonpolice.org. HPD's non-emergency line is 713-884-3131. Or walk into your nearest HPD station and request to make a sexual assault complaint. You don't have to do this alone. There are people who want to listen, support, and help you take those first steps. Thank you all for listening. I'll follow this closely, and when there are updates, I'll bring them to you here. Be sure to drop your comment in the comment section. I'll be happy to hear from you. This is Gail at Night. Thank you all for watching and thank you for supporting. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and set the bell to all.